Okay, if you're learning English, I bet you know this feeling,
Yeah.
that little knot in your stomach, right? The moment you need to talk about next week or maybe next year, and suddenly you just freeze. You start asking yourself, wait, is it will? Or should I be going to, am I going to sound, I don't know, silly if I use the present continuous here?
Oh, yeah. That anxiety is definitely real. And, you know, it makes sense because English doesn't just give you one simple way to talk about the future. It actually has several main ways, these core structures. And if you pick the, let's say, the wrong one for your situation, it's not just a tiny grammar mistake.
Right, you could totally change what you mean. You might sound like you have a super fixed plan when
Yeah.
really it was just, I don't know, a vague idea.
That's brilliantly put. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that getting the future right in English isn't really about just memorizing rules from a book. It's about understanding your intent. English kind of forces you to decide right before you speak. Is this thing I'm talking about a sudden idea, like, pop, just thought of it? Or is it a plan I've had for ages? Or maybe a prediction based on just a feeling or based on something solid I can see right now.
That difference, the
Okay.
intent, the evidence, that's the whole game, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. That's the core of it. So our mission today really is to cut through all that confusion. We want to give you a really clear, straightforward, but deep understanding of when you use each form and just as importantly, why.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're going to zero in on the really critical differences between the two main players, the heavy hitters,
Mm.
will and be going to. These are the ones that intermediate learners, maybe B1, B2 level, tend to wrestle with the most. And then we'll also look at those other two important ones, how we sometimes use the present continuous and even the present simple to talk about future stuff, which can seem a bit weird at first.
Absolutely. And the goal here is that by the time we're done with this deep dive, you'll have the tools, the confidence to talk about everything from, a quick offer like I'll get the door right up to your big life goals, your 5-year plan, and you'll be able to do it precisely without that worry, that fear of, oh no, did I use the wrong tense?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that hesitation. So let's dive straight into that main conflict, the big one, will versus be going to.
Right.
As you said, the key difference really boils down to when the decision happened and whether there's some kind of proof right now. Intent versus evidence. Let's start with will. Structure-wise, it's pretty straightforward, actually. It's just the subject, then will, then the basic form of the verb, the infinitive without to.
Yeah, like I will go, she will see, they will decide. And a nice little bonus, it doesn't change for he, she, or it. No annoying zeros on the end.
A rare treat in English grammar.
Ah, definitely. And of course, for sounding natural, those contractions are key. I'll, he'll, they'll, will. You almost always hear those in conversation.
So use case number 1 for will.
Okay, the first big one, and maybe the most crucial, is for instant decisions. Spontaneous choices. You use will when you decide something right at the moment you're speaking. There was no plan beforehand, no prior thought. It's just a reaction.
Right, it just pops into your head. Let's make that concrete. Imagine you're at a cafe, the waiter comes over, what can I get you? You haven't thought about it. You look at the menu quickly and say, I'll have a latte, please.
Perfect. That decision I'll have was made right then and there. No pre-planning involved.
Okay, or the classic example you often see. We're talking maybe making coffee, and I suddenly realize, oh, we're out of milk.
And my immediate reaction, my spontaneous decision to fix the problem would be, oh, don't worry, I'll go get some, or I'll pop to the shop. That I'll go clearly signals the decision was just made.
Got it. So it's like a little mental flag saying, new decision just happened.
Exactly. Let's try one more. Say, you're carrying a huge pile of books, clearly struggling. I see this, and in that instant, I decide to help.
Hey.
I'd say, I'll get those for you, or I'll carry some of those. The decision to offer help came directly from seeing your struggle right now.
And if you'd been planning all morning to help me with the books?
Then it wouldn't be will. That pre-existing intention would point towards going to, which we'll get to in a sec.
Okay, so will for spontaneous stuff. What's the other main use?
The second big area for will is for general predictions or beliefs. This is when you're talking about the future, but it's based on your opinion, your assumptions, maybe just a general feeling about how things might turn out. Crucially, there's no solid visible evidence right now.
So it's more like a guess or a hope or just what you think.
Pretty much. And you often hear it used with phrases that signal opinion like, I think, I believe, I guess, probably, maybe.
Right, like I think my team will win the match on Saturday. That's just pure hope talking, probably.
Exactly. Or maybe some kind of analysis, but it's still your belief about the future. There's no score flashing on a screen right now proving they're winning. It's a projection.
Or thinking about bigger things like technology will probably change everything in the next 20 years.
Yep. That's a general belief about the future. It's not based on, some specific evidence you're pointing at on your desk. It's a broad prediction.
Okay, so Will handles the spontaneous moments and our general opinions about what's coming. Let's switch gears then. How does be going to contrast with all that?
Right. Be going to. First, the structure, you've got to be careful here because it's a bit more involved. You need the subject, then the right form of the verb to be am, is, or are then going to, and then the base form of the main verb.
And you absolutely cannot forget that am, is, or are. That's a super common mistake, isn't it? Just saying I going to.
Huge mistake, yeah. You must have that auxiliary verb be. And again, contractions are your friend here for sounding natural. I'm going to, you're going to, she's going to.
So what's the main job of going to?
Its primary role is for pre-decided plans and intentions. So these are decisions or plans that you made before the moment of speaking. Could have been 5 minutes ago, could have been last year. The point is the intention already exists.
Ah, so this directly contrasts with the spontaneity of Will.
Exactly. Let's use an example. If I ask you, why are you putting on your running shoes? And you say, because I'm going to go for a jog.
Yeah.
That I'm going to go tells me the decision to jog wasn't made just now because I asked. It was already in your mind. It was your plan.
Right. Or back to the milk scenario. If I say, we need milk, and you reply, yeah, I know, I'm going to pick some up after work.
Perfect. I'm going to pick signals. Yep, already on my list. This isn't new information sparking a new decision. The plan existed before our chat.
Makes sense. Plan already made it go into. What's the other main function?
The second key use for going to, and this is where the contrast with Will's predictions is really sharp, is for predictions based on present evidence.
Ah, okay. So not just a guess or an opinion, but something you can actually see or sense now that points to a future outcome.
Precisely. It's the evidence-based prediction. You see something happening or some condition exists right now that makes a future event seem very likely, almost inevitable.
Like the classic example. Dark, heavy clouds rolling in. You look up and say,
it's going to rain.
Yeah.
You're not just guessing based on the weather forecast you heard this morning. You're reacting to the immediate visible evidence, those clouds.
Or you see someone, I don't know, wobbling terribly on a ladder. You wouldn't just think, he will probably fall. You'd likely shout, careful, you're going to fall.
Exactly. The wobbling is the present evidence. Your prediction stems directly from that observation. Or, slow down, we're going to have an accident if you keep driving like this. The dangerous driving is the evidence.
Okay, this evidence thing feels really important, but what about nuance? Can you mix them? Like, can I say, I think it's going to rain? Doesn't I think usually go with will?
That's a fantastic question. It gets into slightly more subtle territory. Yes, typically I think signals opinion leaning towards will. I think it will rain later. But you can say, I think it's going to rain.
So what's the difference there? What is that signal?
If you say, I think it's going to rain, you're probably still reacting to some present evidence. Maybe the sky looks a bit threatening, or you felt a drop, but you're softening the prediction slightly. You're acknowledging the evidence, but adding a layer of personal judgment or slight uncertainty. It's less direct than just stating, it's going to rain.
I see. So it's going to rain is like fact based on what I see. And I think it's going to rain is more like based on what I see, this looks likely, but I'm adding my thought process.
That's a great way to put it. Now let's use that late scenario example to really hammer this home. Imagine we're stuck in terrible traffic. The conference starts in 5 minutes.
Okay, reality check time.
If I look at the traffic, look at my watch and say, oh no, we are going to be late. That's pure evidence. The traffic jam, the clock, the facts lead to that conclusion.
Right. Doom seems certain based on the evidence.
But if maybe we're just leaving the house a bit late and I say, we need to hurry or we'll be late for the conference.
Okay. That feels different.
It is. That will be late is more of a prediction based on a general concern or opinion about the potential consequences of not hurrying. There isn't necessarily gridlock outside the window yet. It's more about if things continue like this, I believe this outcome will happen.
So, same potential outcome being late, but the grammar tells us why the speaker thinks it's going to happen. Evidence, going to, versus general concern or opinion, will.
Exactly. So for you listening, the key takeaway here is to pause and ask yourself, did I decide this now, will, or before going to? And is this prediction just my feeling, will, or is it based on something I can see right now going to? That little internal check makes all the difference.
Okay, so we've got a good handle on the big two. Spontaneous opinion will versus planned evidence going to. But English has more tricks up its sleeve for the future.
It certainly does. We need to talk about two structures that look like present tenses but often point squarely to the future. These can trip learners up because, well, they don't look like future tenses.
First up is the present continuous.
Hmm.
So that's the be verb plus verbing form like I am running, she is working. How does that talk about the future?
We use the present continuous for future fixed arrangements. Think of these as appointments or plans that are locked into your personal calendar. They usually involve some kind of prior organization, often with other people.
Okay, so not just a vague intention, but something more solid, like you've actually arranged it.
Precisely. It implies that steps have been taken to fix the plan. Maybe you've bought tickets, booked a table, or agreed on a specific time and place with someone else. You nearly always use it with a future time expression.
Give us some examples.
Sure, I'm meeting Sarah for lunch tomorrow, or we're flying to Paris next Tuesday, or he's having dinner with his clients tonight.
Okay, I see. It sounds quite definite. But wait, how is this different from going to? Because I'm going to meet Sarah for lunch tomorrow also sounds like a plan.
Ah, another excellent nuanced question. This is subtle but important. Both can express plans, but the present continuous often implies a higher degree of certainty or fixedness, usually because of that external arrangement.
So going to is more about my internal decision, my intention. Maybe it's still a bit flexible.
Exactly. Going to highlights the intention. I'm going to paint my kitchen next weekend. That's my plan. I bought the paint, but maybe if something comes up, I'll do it the weekend after. It's my decision.
But if I've actually booked someone,
Right. If you say, the decorators are painting my kitchen next weekend, you'd likely use the present continuous. Why? Because you've made an arrangement with them. It's on their schedule too. It's fixed. Canceling might involve hassle or even a fee.
got it. So present continuous fixed arrangement often involves others, feels like it's definitely happening. Going to intention, plan made by me, might be more flexible.
That's a really good summary. Think. Present continuous for diary appointments, travel bookings, scheduled meetings, going to for personal goals and intentions.
Okay, that clears that up.
Yeah.
Now, what's the fourth way we talk about the future, the other present tense?
This one is the present simple, and this is used for a very specific future context. Timetables and schedules, fixed, public schedules.
Right, things that run according to a clock or a calendar, usually for public services or events.
Exactly. We're talking about train times, flight schedules, class timetables, shop opening hours, movie start times, public events. If it's on an official fixed schedule, you use the present simple, even though you're talking about a future event.
So you wouldn't say the train will leave at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Nope. You have to say the train leaves at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Even though it's tomorrow, the timetable itself is seen as a present fact, a fixed routine.
Okay, so my flight departs at 6 p.m., the concert starts at 8, the library closes at 5 tomorrow.
Perfect. All present simple because they refer to established schedules.
This is a really important correction point for you listening, isn't it? It sounds wrong to many learners to use present simple for the future, but for schedules, it's the only correct way.
It is. Using will here sounds unnatural to a native speaker. You just have to learn the specific rule. Schedules, present simple.
But what if I'm talking about my personal plan related to the schedule? Like meeting someone before the concert.
Ah, good point. Then you switch back. The concert itself starts, present simple schedule, at 8 p.m. But your arrangement is, we're meeting, present continuous fixed personal arrangement outside the venue at 7:30.
So the grammar depends on whether you're referencing the public timetable or your own personal fixed plan around it.
You've got it. It's all about context. Whose schedule are we talking about, the public's or yours? Okay, now let's loop back to will for a moment. We talked about spontaneous decisions and predictions, but will also plays a huge role in social interactions. Think offers, promises, refusals.
Right. It's not just about predicting the weather. It's about showing willingness or unwillingness in the moment.
Exactly. Let's take offers. When you offer to help someone right now, you use will. It shows your immediate willingness. Those bags look heavy. I'll carry one for you.
Or don't worry about the mess. I'll clean it up. It's an offer of future action decided right now.
Precisely. And promises work the same way. You're committing yourself to a future action or state. I'll call you as soon as I arrive, or I promise I won't be late. Using will adds that sense of personal commitment made now.
And the flip side, refusals.
Yes. The negative form, won't, which is will not, is really strong for showing unwillingness or a firm refusal. I've asked him many times, but he won't help. It suggests resistance.
Or making a negative promise, I won't tell anyone, I swear.
Exactly. So will and won't are crucial for navigating these social commitments and refusals effectively.
Okay, now shifting back to plans and intentions, particularly future goals. This is super relevant for you listening, thinking about your English progress or career plans. Which form works best here?
For expressing definite goals and plans, especially significant ones, going to is usually the strongest and most natural choice.
Why going to?
Because goals, by their nature, are things you've already decided on. They are pre-existing intentions, saying, I'm going to get fluent in English, or I'm going to apply for that job next month, shows you've thought about it, you've made the decision, and you intend to act on it.
It gives the goal more weight than if you just said, I will get fluent, which might sound a bit like a sudden, perhaps less considered wish.
Exactly. Going to implies planning and intention, which is usually what we mean when talking about serious goals.
But what about less definite goals or hopes? We don't always use going to then, do we?
No, that's right. For hopes, wishes, or less concrete plans, we often use verbs like hope, want, plan, would like, followed by the infinitive with to.
Like, I hope to visit Japan one day. Or, I want to improve my speaking skills. My plan is to save more money.
Precisely. And the crucial grammar point there, as you hinted, is always using to plus the base form of the verb after hope, want, plan, etc. Don't say I want improve. It has to be I want to improve.
Got it. Okay, we've covered a lot of rules and nuances. Let's see how this all plays out in a real conversation. Can we break down a dialogue?
Yes, perfect idea. Let's imagine some friends are making plans. Seeing the tenses switch back and forth naturally is key.
Okay, so friend number one says, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? We're going out for dinner with Steve's parents on Saturday at 6.
Okay, stop there. We're going out. What's that?
That sounds like a fixed arrangement. Involves other people. Steve's parents. Specific time. 6. So, present continuous.
Spot on. Okay, next friend, John, replies, oh, Saturday. I can't make dinner. I'm going to be studying for my big midterm test all day.
I'm going to be studying. That feels like his intention, his prior plan. He decided before this conversation that Saturday was study day. So, going to.
Perfect. It's his pre-decided plan. Okay, later they talk about maybe going to a concert on Friday instead. One friend says, yeah, the band is supposed to be amazing. I think it will be an awesome show, especially at that venue.
I think it will be. That's clearly a prediction based on opinion. I think, plus the general feeling about the band and venue points straight to Will.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, another friend, Marcus, starts talking about his upcoming trip. He says, I'm going to spend the first week in Sydney, just relaxing, and then I'm going to rent a car and drive up the coast.
Right. Those sound like long-term plans.
Yeah.
He's thought about this, probably booked flights or accommodation. Gonna make sense for these detailed intentions.
Definitely. Okay, final twist. John, the one who was going to study, hears everyone else is now planning to go to the concert on Friday instead of the Saturday dinner. He thinks for a second and says, you know what? Friday. Yeah, okay. If everyone else is going, I'll go too.
The switch. He was going to study, but now, hearing the new plan, he makes an instant decision. I'll go. That's the spontaneous decision using will.
Exactly. He decided in that moment to change his plan. That switch from his planned going to study to the spontaneous I'll go shows perfectly how the grammar reflects the timing of the decision.
And if he'd said, okay, I'm going to go too, it would have sounded, well, a bit weird, right? Like he was pretending he hadn't just changed his mind.
It could sound that way, yes. Using will makes the sudden change of plan clear and natural. It shows the decision was made right then. That dialogue really highlights how native speakers flip between these forms constantly, based on subtle shifts in meaning and timing.
Okay, understanding the rules is one thing, but actually using them correctly under pressure is another. Let's talk about the common traps, the mistakes that learners often fall into.
Good idea. Avoiding the pitfalls is half the battle. Let's start with basic structure pitfalls. These are the pure grammar errors. As we mentioned earlier, the absolute #1 error with going to is forgetting the verb be. Learners say things like, I go and watch a movie.
Right. Drives teachers crazy.
It does. It needs that am, is, or are. It must be, I'm going to watch a movie, or she's going to, or they are going to. Always include be.
Okay, what about mistakes with will?
Two main ones structurally. First, people sometimes forget that will is a modal verb, meaning the verb that follows it must be the base form. No S for he site.
So not he will goes.
Never. It must be he will go, she will see, it will start. Always the base form after will.
And the second, will mistake.
Adding an unnecessary to after will, because we say want to, need to, plan to, learners sometimes carry that over and say, I will to call you.
Ah, I can see how that happens.
Yeah, but it's wrong. Will takes the base verb directly. I will call you. We will meet later. No to between will and the main verb. Same goes for won't. I won't forget.
Okay, those are the structural errors. What about using the wrong tense for the wrong meaning? The context and timing errors.
These are arguably more serious because they really mess up your intended meaning. The most common one is probably confusing spontaneity.
Using going to when you should use will for an instant decision.
Exactly. Like if someone drops a glass and you immediately decide to help clean up, you should say, I'll get a cloth.
But a learner might say, I'm going to get a cloth.
Right. And that sounds strange, as if you were already planning to get a cloth just before the glass broke. It doesn't fit the spontaneous reaction. So remember, immediate reaction, offer or decision, will.
Okay, what's the next big context error?
This one is a bit more advanced, but absolutely crucial for sounding natural, especially in writing. The double future trap, using will in time clauses.
Ah, the rule about when, if, after, before, as soon as.
That's the one. The rule is simple but often forgotten. After these time conjunctions, when referring to the future, you must use the present simple, not will.
Even though the action is clearly in the future.
Even though it's clearly future, so it's wrong to say, when I will finish work, I will call you.
It has to be.
When I finish work, I'll call you. Or, I'll tell her as soon as she arrives. Or, if it rains tomorrow, we'll stay inside. The clause, starting with when, as soon as, if, etc., uses the present simple to set the time frame for the main future action.
And that applies even if the main clause uses going to, right?
Right. Absolutely. Before you leave, you're going to need to lock the door. Present simple, leave in the time clause.
Or even if the main clause is a command, an imperative.
Yep. After the movie ends, meet me outside.
Present simple ends in the time clause. It's a very consistent rule. Don't put will in the time clause.
Got it. Any final quick tips on things like time words or prepositions?
Just a couple of common slip-ups. Remember the basic prepositions for future time. For specific days, on Tuesday, on May 1st. For specific clock times, at 6 p.m. at noon.
Simple but easy to mix up sometimes.
And the other classic one, avoid using a the with next. Don't say I'm leaving the next week.
Just next week. She's starting next month. We'll see them next year. No, the needed there. Hashtag tag outro. So if we kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, what this all shows is that the way English handles the future really forces you, the speaker, to be quite conscious about your own intentions and your basis for prediction.
Yeah, it's not just about what will happen, but how you know or when you decide it.
Exactly. You have to quickly analyze, is this planned or spontaneous? Is this based on evidence or just my opinion? And that internal check determines your grammar. So the main takeaway, really, is your choice between will and going to hinges on when you made the decision and why you're making the prediction. And then choosing between those and present continuous or simple depends on whether it's a personal arrangement or a public schedule.
And getting those four forms right, understanding those nuances, is what allows you to express yourself with so much more precision, right? More clarity, more confidence, less of that initial fear.
Absolutely. It makes your communication so much richer and clearer.
So what does this mean for you listening right now on your learning journey? Well, maybe the path to really mastering these future forms isn't just about staring at grammar charts until your eyes glaze over.
Probably not the most effective way.
Perhaps it's more about focusing on your own intent when you speak. What are you really trying to convey about your plan or your prediction?
That's a great point. Think about the subtle message. What does using will versus going to implicitly tell someone about your mindset, about how you perceive time and commitment at that exact moment? Focusing on that internal meaning, rather than just the external rule, can actually make the learning feel more natural.
It connects the grammar to real meaning, doesn't it?
It does. So here's the challenge, your next step. Don't just listen to this and nod along. Put it into practice today.
Yeah, what should they do?
Try this. Think about tomorrow. Write down or just say out loud 3 definite plans you have using going to. Then think of one promise or spontaneous offer you could make to someone later today using will. And finally, identify one fixed appointment or arrangement you have coming up using the present continuous.
I like that. Make it real, make it personal.
Exactly. That's how you turn this knowledge from passive understanding into active communication skill. Talk about your future using these forms with conscious intent.
That really is the best way to cement it. Well, that's all we have time for in this deep dive. We hope this has cleared up some of the future tense fog.
Keep practicing. Keep thinking about your intent.
And we'll be back next time with more insights to help you on your English journey. Until then, keep digging.